You are now watching the Movie Juice Podcast.
The juice is loose.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Movie Juice Podcast. I'm Dylan.
I'm Kyle.
And I'm James.
Movie Juice! Movie Juice! Movie Juice! Movie Juice! Juice the movie!
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah! So that sounded like the Kool-Aid Man.
You did like a Creed thing. You did like a Creed
Yeah,
thing. I heard
I
that.
did.
That was sick.
Oh yeah!
Oh, yeah. All right, so
You went soul with it. I like it.
this week,
Soul
to
Creed.
celebrate the first day
Of
of
Hanukkah.
Hanukkah, we watched 8 Crazy Nights.
Crazy nice.
So it goes along with the Christmas theme a little bit too.
Yep.
Pretty cool.
It's starring Adam Sandler and Rob Schneider is the narrator.
Does Adam Sandler voice Whitey too?
Yeah.
I thought so.
Yeah, he also voices Eleanor.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Anytime there's a weird voice, he'll do it.
He also does the singing voice for himself.
Yeah.
I figured that was him.
Surprisingly.
Well, because
Because there are some points when he's singing where I questioned it, like you can tell when it's his voice, but
Yeah.
there were a couple of notes he hits that I'm like, did he hit that note?
Boom.
Boom! I love that part.
currently that's like a trend. Like that soundbite is a trend on TikTok.
Yeah, that's what she was telling me.
Is it like when are they like doing what they're doing in the movie where they're like repenting?
I don't know.
The ones I've seen the most was like whenever I'm trying to annoy my mom and then my sibling joins in.
Nice. And that one guy just doing the dance. I love that part.
Oh my god. We'll
He's
get
funny.
there. So the movie starts with a title card.
We got
Whoa!
jumping ahead.
I
man.
jump in, bro.
We haven't even asked.
I opened your butt and put my head in it. Head first.
Shit, do we have to stop him? No, let's get the box office first. Tell us some stuff.
Also, would you guys recommend it first?
Well, yeah, but we do this first. We'll get to the recommendations.
It was released.
Been history, boy.
I said,
It was released in November 27th, 2002.
I thought it was 2002. Yeah.
And the budget was $34 million, and the box office it made $23.8 million. So,
Oof. Flop.
yeah, so it was a pretty hard flop.
That sucks, especially for an animated movie. Like, fuck.
Yeah, most
Well, also
people
what's
think-
crazy, this is like during Adam Sandler's like hot streak still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, because like he hasn't done Anger Management yet or Click.
It received a ton of negative reviews from critics.
This is a sidebar, but when does the Adam Sandler hot streak end to you guys? Because I would say the last Grown Ups or the first
The
Grown
first
Ups.
grown ups, because the second grown up sucks.
Yeah, the first Grown Ups.
Yeah.
Because I kind of think the first Grown Ups isn't that great,
But it's funny. Like,
but it's still
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
Because like when you get all those comedic people together, you're bound to have some comedy. So like for the most part, it's not like great, but like there are some standout jokes in that movie that are still live rent free in my mind.
Yeah.
But then like the second one just tries way too hard.
Because I think
Yeah.
Jack and Jill and shit comes after
Yeah,
Grown
it's like
Ups.
2011.
And
Yeah.
that's just when the shit keeps spewing out from him.
I mean, like he's kind of come back a little bit now.
with Uncut Gems.
Sarah and I watched Pixels,
I love bro.
and Pixels is a good ass.
I'm
movie.
a Pixels defender, man. Like it's like that fucking memes. Like I'm tired of pretending it's not a good movie. It's pretty good. I like it. We should do it for the podcast.
So my mom fucking loves that movie, and I always thought it was so weird. And I'd like catch bits and pieces of it, and I was
Yeah.
like, "Oh, it looks all right." And then me and her sat down and actually watched it, and I was like, "Wow,
pretty good movie. Yeah,
this shit's actually really fucking good." I mean, I don't know. I mean, you know, I'm not gonna like, but like,
Right.
I would watch it again.
I watched that movie and Straight Outta Compton the same night.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I remember
two
whenever,
different sides of the spectrum.
Whenever
Yeah,
I-
completely.
when I started working there, my first night was Straight Outta Compton, and I think Pixels was gone pretty quick because
That's
I think it
crazy.
had been out for a little bit already.
The first
Yeah.
movie I watched when I worked at the theater was Robin Hood.
Well, the first movie I
Weird.
watched was I remember I took my brother and his girlfriend at the time, his wife now. I took them to go see I think Jurassic World.
My first one was Get Hard with Will Ferrell and
Oh,
Kevin
okay,
Hart.
I was for some reason my dumbass was thinking Ride Along, and I was like,
yeah.
"Wait, that was 2014. You didn't have a job yet."
I worked at Zaxby's
My bad.
and Toys R Us.
We worked at Ride Along. We worked Ride Along too because we had shirts
Yeah.
for it.
Because I remember Ride Along was the first movie I saw when it was still the Big D. That was
I
the
never
first movie
saw.
the Big D.
I've never seen either of those.
No, neither.
They're not great. You're not
Yeah.
missing much.
My very first weekend working there, it was fucking Paul Blart 2.
Oh man, I saw that in theaters. It was bad.
Yeah, and then
never
like,
seen that
and
one.
then
It's bad.
my next week was was the Avengers.
I like Paul Blart 1, though. It's not bad.
Or the Avengers 2.
It's fun.
Age of Ultron was the second movie I went and saw because they had re-released it in the theater, and I went and watched it.
I never got to see that one in theaters.
It was.
I was working with my dad, and I was working like every fucking weekend.
I think I saw it in the Big
nuts.
D twice because I think Will and I went and saw it before I was working there too.
But anyway,
Would you guys recommend this movie?
fuck, that's a tough one.
Yeah, because I mean,
If you're Jewish,
yeah, I mean, like,
I mean, I wouldn't not recommend it,
yeah, 'cause
but I'm
it's-
not
it's-
gonna like glowing review it either.
Yeah, because
I wouldn't go if I wasn't doing it for the podcast. I wouldn't go out of my way to watch it.
but like if someone was like, "Hey, let's watch 8 Crazy Nights," and I'm just like at a friend's house, or like if I'm hanging out with people, I'm like, "Yeah, just throw it on. Yeah, sure, it's a fun movie." But like
Yeah, it's fun.
the plot, I have some notes later that's just like the plot kind of progresses too quick, and it's a little.
Yeah.
And it is a short movie. It's less than an hour and a half.
It's very rushed.
It's
like
76
Yeah, it's
minutes.
less than 90, and that's
Yeah.
sometimes can work, but it's never a good sign.
Yeah, like I think it would have been better if he wouldn't have released it in box office. If he just did it on like Comedy Central or some
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
Probably would've done
I
better.
also think it's very much like a movie of its time.
Very
Oh,
much
yeah.
so.
Like
I
a
have
lot of
some
the
notes.
jokes, and even a lot like a lot of the gags and shit. It's just like,
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I probably wouldn't go to a theater to watch. I wouldn't pay
No.
money to see this.
No, definitely not.
I think if this was 2002 and if I was 27 years old and if I went and watched 8 Crazy Nights in the theater and paid for it, I don't think I'd be like mad, but I would have been like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
We could have went bowling or something.
Yeah, I would've been like,
we
man,
could have done
yeah.
anything else besides go
We
to the
should've
movies
just-
and see this movie.
Yeah, we should have done something else.
Yeah.
Cause like, would I watch it again? Yeah, probably, but it's gonna be like a while. You know, like I'm not gonna like throw this on rotation.
Like I said, not like the night before last week.
Yeah,
Like I said, it's one of those ones where the last time I watched it was with him a couple years ago. So like, I feel like every couple of years, be like, oh yeah, I haven't watched 8 Crazy Nights in a while. I'll watch that.
I agree.
For Christmas. But
like
it's
I think it's good, but
Like,
it's not great.
Like I'll watch it like once every couple of years.
Yep.
Yeah, it's all right.
It's because that's usually when my brain, my brain's like, hey, 8 Crazy Nights exists.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
like,
something I never really think about.
I think that's how we
Yeah.
watched it the last time. I was like, hey, you want to watch it? I was like, yeah, sure, why not?
'cause
Fuck
I-
it.
'cause
But
I think-
also-
I think
The
you'd
TV
already-
was like serving it to us on our algorithm. I'm like, yeah, sure, why not?
why
Fuck it,
not?
throw it on. We need something to watch while we're eating dinner.
Man, it was free on YouTube.
Yeah, we were like, fuck
What's
it,
your
watch it.
favorite Adam Sandler movie?
Oh man,
I know we're like getting way off, but I mean, fuck it, who cares?
it's Christmas. You guys deserve little
For
treats.
fuck's sake, it's Christmas.
For fuck's sake, it's Christmas.
Technically, it's Hanukkah.
yeah. The first line.
Real quick, what is it?
Fuck, man. You go first, because I don't
Probably
know.
Click, because it's got the best comedy and heart, in my
Yeah.
opinion. And there, I still tear up at Click. I'm not gonna lie.
I really like Big Daddy.
Big Daddy's pretty good too, though.
Oh.
But also a really good soft spot's Happy Gilmore, because that was like one of the first ones I ever watched. My dad showed it to me, so it's kind of a bonding thing with him as well.
Anger Management, maybe.
Really,
I love
that
that
is not
fucking
one I
movie.
come back to. I quote it when I start singing "I Feel Pretty," but that's about it.
Like, but I have a lot of nostalgia for Anger Management and The Waterboy.
Waterboy's great too.
I grew up on those because we had those
Same.
both of those on VHS,
Yep, same.
and we had The Longest Yard on VHS.
We had Happy Gilmore on VHS as well.
Really? But all right, you guys ready to get into the movie?
I'm down.
It starts with the title card.
Yep.
Yep, cool.
Yep.
Crazy nice.
And then there's like an animated village.
Yeah, and Rob Schneider's the narrator, telling us it's the first night of Hanukkah and how shitty Davy Stone is.
Yeah, it also says that Christmas is right around the corner, and it's like the first night of Hanukkah.
First night of Hanukkah, yep.
Yep.
And they're talking
Nice.
about Christmas and how you get to eat and are given stuff.
And it's a tingly time of the year, but Davy's found another way to get tingly. He's getting fucking drunk at the Chinese place.
They also call him the head honcho of Holiday Humbug.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
that. It's a good alliteration.
But he's eating Chinese food, and the guy comes up to like give him his bill, and he
Fucking-
does the longest,
The longest
burp.
burp.
Yeah.
And I just put, what a burp.
What a burp! And then
Wowzers.
his burp breaks people's glasses and scares a homeless man. And then
And then we immediately get to the first part that to me didn't age well, which is once again a racist caricature played by Rob Schneider.
yeah,
Yeah.
the
The
Chinese guy.
Chinese guys, like I was
Yeah.
like, I can't believe we let that go on for so long. Of like Rob Schneider playing these other, how do you say that?
No, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
it's just
I
not.
think they'll understand what you're saying.
Yeah, like it's not great, man. We shouldn't. I can't believe we let him do that. Because I think
So
up to
long.
like 2005, 2006. Because I remember in
No, it goes on for longer than that.
Really?
Yeah, it's like early 2010s.
Yeah?
you
Yeah,
know?
because in I Now Pronounce You Chuck and Larry, it was 2007, and he plays like another Asian man.
yeah, fuck shit. So yeah, because my big one, I was thinking like the Hawaiian guy he plays in 51st Dates.
yeah.
It's like
and he might be.
it's like it's crazy.
He might be in Zohan too. I don't even remember what
Probably
that came
that's,
out.
that whole movie is like
That movie's rough.
Yeah.
But it is funny what the Chinese man says though. He says congratulations. Now please excuse me while I go take a shower.
That was pretty funny.
And then they talk about how Davey used to be a good guy. Now he's 33.
And they rhyme or something. Yeah.
And they they basically just talk about how he's Jewish. They say he's crazy and he's Jewish.
So he's just Adam Sandler.
And then it shows him like going to get in his car, and he's like trying to get into it, and he's keying his car trying to unlock it.
It's got like a bunch of key scratches before, so like you can tell this is a regular thing.
And then the cops pull up on him, and they're like, "Hey, you better not be getting ready to get in there and drive."
He's like, "No, I'm just kissing my car goodnight before I walk home
and go and enjoy the holiday."
And then he starts
decorations.
He starts
fucking
pretty much fucking his car in front of
and
everybody.
the cop starts crying.
He's like, I get it. I remember my first time.
And then the Chinese man comes out of the Chinese restaurant. He's out dined and dashed, and now the cops are chasing him.
Yeah.
And then he grabs it's pretty cool because during the chase scene, he grabs like that trash can lid and
like
sleds on it.
And he starts singing, which I kind of forgot this was a musical.
I did too. And then my next note is literally, this is still a better musical than Joker 2.
Yep.
It is. I also forgot this was a musical.
Yeah, until he started singing, and I was like, oh yeah, musical.
But like, he's fucking sledding around on the trash can lid, and he like touches an old lady's melons.
It's just watermelon.
It's actually watermelons.
That was funny.
And he hits a lady's like bags out of her hand, and then he Charlie horses her.
Yeah.
I did get one quote from that song where he says, "I hate love, I hate you, I hate me."
Oh yeah.
I was like, I could relate.
He also moons carolers and throws snowball at reindeers.
Yeah.
And then he also beats a bunch of. He makes it his mission to knock down every snowman.
He knocks down all the snowmen too, and then he rolls up on the
ice sculptures.
On the ice sculptures of the Christmas
and
tree
breaks
and
them
the menorah
again. Because later on we find out he's like, oh yeah, you wrecked them again.
He breaks. It crashes into the menorah, then he breaks into the Santa. I also put a note that Adam Sandler isn't a bad singer when he's being serious.
Agreed.
He's not. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Because like when he's not doing his like jokey singing voice, it's actually not bad.
He's got a good voice. Yeah.
But after he crashes into those things, the cops catch him and he gets arrested. And then it cuts to court the next day, and you find out that he's been sent everywhere for the last 20 years. That they say he's been in like psych hospitals and all kinds of shit. I think the only place he hasn't been is like actual prison.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they're getting ready to send him
for 10 years.
And they also mentioned during this court scene that he has a really good jump shot.
And he used to be a good kid at basketball. Until he went.
And he gets up and he's like, "Oh yeah, I can still show you my jump shot." And he just jumps,
barely jumps. And he starts fucking drinking in the courtroom, and it's like, bro, what the fuck?
He just like pops another beer, like Jesus. And then that's when we learn this old guy Whitey
Duvall
comes up and stands up for him and says, let him coach the basketball team.
The Chinese man calls him a parakeet during the scene.
Yeah.
And then you find out Whitey is the ref of the youth basketball. And ask him to be a ref in training for his punishment, and then if he fucks up, he will go to prison for 10 years, so this is his last chance. And then the judge agrees, so they go on, and then it cuts to the locker room where Whitey's putting on his jock.
Yeah. And he has a hairy ass.
And he has a very hairy ass.
It's very hairy. And then also his right foot is bigger than, it's like a really big foot, and his left foot's like really fucking small.
Yeah, it says his men's 11 is his right foot, and the children's 9 on the left foot.
Yeah.
It's like, what? How's that possible?
Yeah.
He's also like 3 feet tall.
Because you find out later that his twin sister has the exact same thing.
Yeah.
But I think it's like the opposite. I think
it's the opposite.
I think it's like the opposite feet, which is funny.
And then Whitey tells him that he's got, like, they're just talking a little bit, like Adam Sandler's Davey Stone is making fun of him, and he flips Whitey off, because like Whitey tells him that he needs to stretch before, so he flips him off.
Check these ones, and then the narrator's like, oh yeah, Whitey's so nice, he doesn't even realize he's being flipped off.
Well, he's so behind on the times too, he doesn't even know what it is, because he just tells him he needs to stretch his quads too.
Because we get a flashback later too, and even in the flashback from like 20 years ago, he still looks old as fuck.
Yeah.
So like, Whitey's pretty.
Well, it shows
old.
his baby picture too, and he's like an old man in his baby picture.
Well,
it's just how he's always been.
I think they said he just turned 70 or is about to turn 70.
I think he's 70. Yeah. And then when they come out of the locker room, Whitey goes and looks at it's like a poster, and it's talking about an All-Star patch, the 35th annual All-Star patch that they give out.
Yeah.
And he really wants to win that patch because he's getting ready to retire. He's not going to be a part of it anymore. He really wants the patch. And cuts to them reffing, and Adam Sandler's out there with his boots on.
Yeah, and he was like, "You are not gonna ref in those shoes."
And he kicks
him off, and one just breaks.
He breaks the light, and then he like kicks the other one off, and doesn't he like hit like one of the scorekeepers or something?
Yeah,
like,
and because he knocks onto the buzzer, and the buzzer's like, eh.
Yeah. And he's like, "Oh, game time." And Whitey is struggling.
He's running back and forth on the court.
I put the run.
He's the run. And then the fat kid gets the ball and falls.
Yeah, he trips, and Davey says,
"Foul on the fat kid for eating everything in sight."
Yeah.
And Whitey says, "No, you have very nice boobs." And it makes the kid cry more.
He calls him Jelly Jugs and tells him to wear a bra.
He's like,
And then the crowd starts throwing stuff, and then Davey has a seizure.
Yeah,
I mean,
Whitey starts having a seizure, and someone says, "Is he breakdancing?"
And then I actually put the game is over and Fatty's team loses because I want to see him cry again.
Yeah. And then they go to the mall, and Whitey has a song about the mall.
He does like a bunch of rhymes, and then Davey's like, "Did you rhyme did you rhyme that on purpose, or was that just like an accident?"
And Whitey's like, "No, that was kind of weird, wasn't it?" And then it shows the fat kid in the lingerie store trying on a bra.
The girl's like, "Aren't you a man?" He's like, "Ah!" Makes him cry.
Boy, and he starts crying and runs away.
And then Jennifer and her son Benjamin brings donuts to Whitey.
Well, also before that though, like Whitey's talking to him about how the youth basketball is important and all this, and he dumps the fries out on the table, and it says "bite me," and Whitey says he can't read.
Joke's on you, I can't read.
Joke's on you, I can't read. It's like, oh fuck. And then Jennifer brings him the sugar-free donuts, and this is where you find out that he doesn't eat sugar products because his sister is diabetic.
Right, which is not. It's another one of those things. A lot of these things it's like just to show like Whitey's a really nice man.
Yeah, and he loves Bavarian cream.
Yeah,
which I also love Bavarian cream.
Because my note was Whitey almost nuts himself over the cream field.
Those are they're good. And then you find out that the little kid and his mom are also Jewish, and the little kid got a Game Boy for the third night of Hanukkah.
Yep. And then Whitey thinks it's
an Etch-a-Sketch.
Yeah, that's a nice Etch-a-Sketch.
And Davey is mean to the little kid. The little kid's name is Benjamin. By the way.
Yeah.
And whenever he's mean to the little kid, Jennifer and Benjamin walk away, and Davey starts talking about her ass.
And then Whitey's like,
technical foul,
technical foul. And he says, "You will not talk about a lady like that."
Right.
And then you find out that Jennifer's single. Her husband left her for a woman he met online.
And then that's when Davey's like, "Oh, you don't remember her?" And you realize that that's the Jennifer he used to be in a relationship with when he was a kid.
Yeah, they were together whenever they were kids.
Yep.
You see a little flashback to the 70s, and Whitey was an old fuck even in the 70s or in the 80s. I guess it was the 80s. And
you just kind of see like them kind of palling around together playing basketball.
And then you find out that then the mayor shows up in the mall, and he tells Davey Stone that he ruined the ice pageant
again. That's what I said. He says again.
Yeah. And then he does like the furry underwear is in Spencer's. That's where it's looking for it. And the lady's like, "Oh, you're gross."
You're gross.
Yeah, they leave the mall, and Whitey sings about the banquet.
Yeah, he really wants that patch.
And then that's when you find out that Davey stole some brittle from the mall.
You also find out there's a lady with 3 boobs.
Yeah.
They're in his musical number, which I thought was kind of cool.
Like, do we want a high five for that? Just because, like, we didn't see him, but 3 boobs is 3
it's
boobs
like Total Recall.
Is 3 boobs high five worthy?
Later they call her Miss Triple Nipple, and
that was
that.
Yeah. Friendship.
But yeah, they do the music number. There's like people pissing and shit. People pee their pants in it.
That was funny.
Patch remembers. Patch means the world to Whitey because he wants to be remembered for hard work, not hairy ass.
Right.
Yeah.
I think he says that.
Yeah.
And then you find out about the peanut brittle. And
he's like, "Oh!" He starts having a seizure while he's driving.
He almost crashes the car.
He's like, "Oh, calm down, seizure boy."
Yeah. Well, he starts dribbling him like he's a basketball. And he's like, "Put me down!" And
then they get to his trailer, and then you find out he's like, "Oh, like you walk the rest of the way." He's like, "Oh, I live right there," and it's like a trailer.
Yeah, you also see where he has like little things on the pedals to help him drive.
Yeah.
It's like little bricks or something. I don't even know what it is exactly.
He can barely see over the fucking steering wheel.
Like, for real.
Yeah, and
he's
then
like,
you see where he gets stuck, and Davey doesn't help him because he gets stuck. Like he stops the car to let Davey out,
and then when he starts back to go back on, he wouldn't go.
Yeah, he wouldn't go.
And then he's like, "Please help me, please help me." And then we get a classic Adam Sandler. Shut up!
I know he does it. He does it a couple times.
I love it.
And then
he's like, he goes inside and starts drinking some more.
And you see where like this is when you kind of find out that his parents are dead. There's also a Jewish TV channel apparently.
Yeah.
And
he has that card from his parent.
While he's lying in bed, he hears Whitey still trying to get out, and he's laughing at him.
Yeah.
And then the reindeer show up, and Whitey asks for help, and they help him. And then it says, "Doesn't it?" And then like the narrator said, "Doesn't it always make you feel good when you see a group of reindeer help a motorist?" And I was like,
it's like,
what?
I've never seen that before in my life.
I've never seen that happen. What are you talking about, Rob Schneider?
And then Whitey gets home, and his sister was worried, and she says she already called the morgue. And his sister's name is Eleanor. It's his twin sister, and she also looks very weird.
And when she takes her wig off, she looks like an owl.
She does. They say that later.
Yeah.
And later on, the narrator's like, "Oh, well, she does look like an owl."
And then they like soak their feet. It's like their nightly ritual that they soak their feet together.
Bro, they do this multiple times in the movie, and I kind of want to start doing that.
It
'cause
looks
that looks
nice.
kind of warming and cozy.
It looks
does.
nice.
But then I think it's also funny he's reading short and goofy quarterly.
Yeah, and
Thought
she's
that was
playing
funny.
the trumpet, and then it pulls out, and their house is like really Christmassy. It's like super decorated.
Yeah.
And you find out that Whitey doesn't make a lot of money, so he goes around the town and does odd jobs.
Yeah.
Because it cuts to the next morning, and he's putting a star on a tree, and they're like fucking with him. They're telling him to move it around until he falls, and he
Yeah.
falls off the tree and lands in a box. And the guy says, "Hey, look, a jackass in the box." And then he's like, "Do y'all need help with anything else?" As they're like walking away, and they tell him to clean out the crappers, and they'll give him $1.
He
said, "Deal."
He's like, you got a deal. Like,
he says,
the way he says is really funny because like I feel bad for him, but at the same time he's really funny. He's like, you got a deal.
Yeah, I know.
It's cute.
Also, we didn't mention this, but it's Dukesbury. That's where they live.
Oh,
That's the
okay.
name of the town. Because while Whitey's cleaning the porta johns, Davy pops out of one because he was throwing up in
Yeah,
there,
he's barfing.
and he says something. He calls it Pukesbury, like.
Yeah.
Because Davy like starts making fun of him for getting drunk. He's like, "Oh, you been to Pukesbury? Ha ha ha!"
Well, it's pretty funny because I just said in my notes. I didn't put Dukesbury, but in a note I did put Pukesbury.
Yeah. And then because he makes fun of Davy. Davy pushes him into the porta john and shoves the porta john down the hill.
Yeah,
And
which it's kind of weird. If I had a nickel for every time someone was caught in a porta potty sliding down a hill this year,
Yeah.
that's 2 nickels.
Yeah, 2 nickels.
You weren't here for that one, but
I wasn't,
It was a
but
Y2K.
I went with it anyway.
It happens to Y2K.
And then whenever he starts to get out of the porta potty on the bottom of the hill, he says, "The worst has happened. I'm covered in human feces."
Yeah, that would be pretty bad for me too.
And then Davy sprays him with the hose and freezes him and calls him a
Poopsicle.
poopsicle. Yeah.
And then like he kind of just stays there until nighttime, which I'm pretty sure would have killed the man.
My thing is like, why isn't Whitey's sister working?
Yeah.
Like, lazy bitch. Fuck.
Yeah.
And then but then he's there for a while, and then the reindeer show up
And
again,
they start licking him.
and they lick him free, and one smiles and has shit all over its teeth.
Yeah. Which
It's
is
fucking
ugh.
gross.
That's fucking gross. That's one of the ones that I was like, meh, I don't like that.
Yeah, same. But like, yeah, if that was real life, he would have died.
He would have died. And then it cuts to the gym, and Davey is watching those dudes play basketball. It's like just like 2-on-2s. It's like older dudes playing. He's wondering why he has to be there. Also, Ben is there. Benjamin, Jennifer's
Yeah.
son, and
Yep.
Whitey is watching
looking
him.
after him because she has to stay late at work.
Yeah, she had to work a double. Then like while they're up there talking,
They're like reminiscing a little bit.
and Whitey tells Benjamin that the basketball lobe in his brain is gone because of all the drinking.
he's
Yeah.
like, shit, watch me, bro.
And he says he could whip any of those guys with Whitey as his partner. And one of the guys hears him say that and says if he loses, that he'll eat his own jock. And then Davey says if they lose, they got to eat this guy's jock. And it's this like big sweaty fat guy.
Yeah.
Then they say first to 5 wins.
Yeah, and then they start playing, and Whitey gets dunked on so hard, like literally gets dunked on.
Literally.
Well, yeah, and they also had to be on skins, so you see how hairy Whitey
Yeah,
is.
he looks like a fucking abominable snowman.
and
Yeah.
Davey calls him Fuzzy Wuzzy. And then Whitey's like starts to go through, and he's like trying, and then the ball gets spiked into him, and he's loopy. So Davey just like picks him up and throws him on the bench
Yeah.
and puts his hand down his pants, and he starts saying, "Good kitty, nice kitty."
And then I think it's fun. I just thought it was funny that like for a drunk, Davey's pretty ripped.
Yeah.
Like he's built. I was like, shit,
Yeah.
man.
And then Ben comes in as Davey's partner,
Yeah.
and Davey's like cool to Benjamin. This is the first time like he shows a little bit of like
Yep.
humanity.
Yeah.
Because he goes for one shot, he's like, yeah, throw it up, and then he misses. He's like, oh, don't worry about it, just keep your elbows in.
Yep.
And then he like sinks the next shot.
Yeah, he starts teaching him how to do it, and then like Adam, I think Ben scores most of the points too.
Yeah, but,
Yeah.
yeah, because he keeps giving it to him.
He
and
keeps
then,
giving it to him.
And then Davey scores one because he fakes him out by pretending to give it to him, and then it's like a third point. He alley-oops it up.
Whenever they get up to 2 points, the guy looks over at the big dude with the jock, and it's all sweaty.
Yeah.
and gross.
It's all wet.
Yeah, and then they get the fake out shot, and then the ginger guy like screams like ah! I specifically wanted to mention that. And then I also
Why'd you
said
scream?
I'm sorry.
I also said that I also said that Davey was built different.
Yeah.
Because then like the next point they score is really cool because like I think Ben misses it, but then
And then Davey.
Davey's able to alley oop it and dunk it.
Yep. And then Jennifer shows up and sees Davey like on his knee, like talking to Ben.
Right, like, hey,
like-
this is the next play we're gonna run.
Yeah, and then Benjamin wins the game because he like jumps off Davey's back,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
dunks the ball and
Which is
gets it in.
fucking sick.
And then he says, "Say what I told you to say." And Benjamin says, "Eat that nut strap, biatch." And then his mom walks walks up.
Benjamin.
Yeah. Mom hears that, don't like it.
Yeah, she gets big mad.
And she's like bitching at Davey, telling him how much of a piece of shit he is, basically. And then it cuts to the dude eating the jock strap.
Yeah.
And the fat guy standing there, and he says,
Why are you eating?
"Why are you eating that?"
Because I like Benji. Because Benjamin's like, she doesn't like you very much, does she? He's like, I don't like me very much.
Yeah.
And I was like, I get it.
Yeah, me too, buddy.
I said, same here, bro. And then she tells, and then this is whenever they start singing again. Because
Yeah.
Jennifer is in her car with Benjamin, and then Davey is taking Whitey home.
Yeah.
Because I guess Whitey's still knocked out. And also, I'm pretty sure that Whitey shoves his hand up his butthole because he's talking, it cuts to him talking to the kitty again, and he says that his finger's in his mouth, but there's no teeth.
Yeah.
So there was that. I didn't write that down, I just remembered it. And I was
Yeah,
like,
it was
oh,
weird.
okay.
A little frisky.
Yeah. But yeah, this is like, this movie was a fucking musical. I read that. You find out that Whitey's sister's wig had lice because he talks about it
In the
Yes.
song.
in
yeah.
his sleep.
Yeah, and Jennifer is voiced by Adam Sandler's real life wife, but her singing voice is country music star Alison Krauss. But she was in another movie, Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
Yep.
Oh,
She
okay.
sings in that whenever they go down to the river. There's
To pray?
no, that's
I know.
I haven't seen that movie
That's
in a very
the-
long
it's been a
time
while,
either.
yeah.
that's the song she sings.
Right,
actually,
yeah.
But this is just kind of where you find out that like they really like each other as kids, and Eleanor's bra is a trainer, and the only time that Whitey has sex was on the phone, and that
Oh, God.
and they loved each other, and yeah, I mean it's just like a little reminiscent of their childhood, and they're singing about each other.
Yeah, and he sings about how his house is on fire. And he's like, "My house is on fire.
My house is on fire.
Yeah, the
Because
guy.
the jockstrap guy fucking.
Also,
Yeah.
Whitey says that his balls were licked by deers. I just want to put that.
I mean, yeah, technically, I guess they were.
I mean, like, yeah, they were also frozen, I'm sure.
And then the guys from the ball game set his house on fire, and he was able to run in and save the letter from his parents. But that was the only thing he got.
And then Whitey offers for him to stay with him.
And then it cuts to Whitey's house, and Eleanor's there, and she answers a prank call, and they're like, "Is Ophelia there?" And she's like, "Ophelia who?" And they say, "Ophelia Heine." And there's also like this running gag about kids stole her wig whenever they were kids.
Yeah.
And she's like, "I know it was you that stole my wig."
And Whitey's
It
like, that
happened
was 45 years ago.
Yeah. Like-
That's funny. She thinks that Davey's an intruder.
yeah, she thinks Davey's there to rob them.
Yeah.
And she says he can take whatever he wants, but don't chop her legs off.
Yeah.
And then Whitey's like, "No, he's with me." And she asked him if he forced him to bring him there so that he can molest him. It's like,
What?
And then she's like, where are your parents? So like, he's like, they died.
they died. Yeah, I just wrote Davey's parents are dead. And then he cracks a beer, and Eleanor like loses her fucking mind.
Yeah, she geeks out. She's like, "Oh!"
And then it's like this. They have like the technical foul song.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
is like one of my favorite songs. In the
That's a
that one's
technical
That's
foul.
a technical. Because like it gets stuck in her head. It's like, it's a technical foul.
Yeah.
And then near the end of the song, I got a quote from Davey. "I can't believe I haven't killed myself here with Wiggs McGee and a furry elf."
Yeah, I also wrote. I took a lot of other notes from it, of
Yeah.
course, but I wrote Wiggs McGee and the furry elf also.
I just put, I'm surprised I haven't killed myself yet. And I put, yeah, same.
I wrote no dirty shoes, switching radios, shut the door on the fridge, touching the thermostat. Eleanor's a badass because she pulls nunchucks on him. No cussing. They're all technical fouls. And you also have to spray Lysol after you shit.
Yeah,
Yeah, which is respectful.
that's a great rule.
And he also can't wipe his ass with the monogram towel because he asks.
See, I found that weird because like, what's the like?
It's just a towel.
yeah,
It's just a towel.
Who cares?
No sugar cookies to Eleanor because it might be a homicide.
Right. That was funny.
And he can't sleep past 3 or pee in flowers. Or make a long distance call, or walk around with his morning erection.
But
Eleanor wants to see it. And then she starts singing about the wig. She starts singing about her wig. I don't know.
Yeah, like they're all singing about it's
It's
like
because they all start singing about different shit.
it's like how musicals are where like everyone it's kind of like they're singing about what they want and then they come back together at the end.
Yeah. Because he asks if he can use the horn as a bong. And this is when she says, someone says if she takes off her wig, she looks like an owl. I think she says it.
Yeah.
And then he's like, well, I guess I have to make the best of this because I have no choice.
Yeah, like
And then they all kind of like wrap it up together by getting the pans together to all sit down and they have a foot bath. And
Yeah,
that's like the end of
It does look pretty cozy.
it. Does
right?
look, it
Yeah.
looks nice. And
Like
then
they specifically have a different basin for a guest. I thought that was funny.
yeah. And then it's like a little montage of them living together
And
because
having
it
a good
shows.
time.
And like he's kind of coming around to like being nice.
Yeah, because he's like brushing his teeth, and Whitey
Yeah.
shaves his chest, and Eleanor is she's shaving her unibrow.
unibrow, yeah.
And then they go to Spencer's Gifts and get the little prank peanut can.
Yeah.
And they give it to Eleanor and give her a fucking seizure.
And then later on in the montage, she gives it to Davy.
Yeah, and also like to point out what you were saying was showing that he's coming around like he helps them get cobwebs down and stuff. Like he's just trying to be.
Cause it's funny
nice.
because I think Whitey was standing on top of Eleanor and they couldn't reach it, and then Davy comes in and then they can reach it. It's funny. It's like they kind of need him. It's cute. Like he's kind of finding a new family.
And then at the end of that little montage, it shows where like you can vote for the annual patch.
Yeah, and then he puts his vote for Whitey.
He puts his vote for Whitey in there, which I thought was cool.
He's like, good luck, old man.
And then you find out that Eleanor doesn't know how to eat corn dogs.
Yeah, she's eating it with like a fork and a knife.
She's like, he's like, you're supposed to hold the stick and eat it. Because she says, like, I understand the cornmeal around the hot dog, but why do they have this stick in here?
So that's so you can hold it. She's like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
Corn dogs are pretty nice.
And then then it's cool that he buys.
You are the Glizzy Goblin.
Gobbler.
Gobbler.
But then,
but I think it's funny that he buys a coffee, and it's cool that, like, he's actually paying for stuff now. Like, like he's not being a piece of shit anymore. He's paying for the things he needs.
And you also find out that Ben has gotten really good at basketball from tucking his elbow and taking Davy's advice.
They beat like the last team they played.
Yeah, and then it shows Whitey ice skating, and he's a dog at it.
Yeah. I put he's Brian Boitano on the ice.
I don't know what that means.
It's a South Park movie. He's an ice skater, but it's a joke from the South Park movie.
Oh, okay. I haven't watched South Park.
That's the only reason I know who that is. It's because of that. Because they have that whole song about what would Brian Boitano do.
You find out the banquets tonight, and then Whitey says that he got so good at ice skating because he used to ref it.
And he refed hockey in the 50s.
I thought that was cool. It's like a little nod to Happy Gilmore.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, I see that. Yeah. But he got hit with a puck, and he had a metal plate put in his head, and he was in a coma for 3 months. And then also I thought it was a little nice gesture because he helps Whitey get out of the ice. He picks him up and pulls him over and sets him down in the chair. And just to kind of reiterate that he's coming around to them and he's being nice to him and stuff.
Yeah, and Eleanor asks Davey if he ever played hockey when he was a kid.
And they start talking about him playing basketball. And they talk about the JCC Miracle.
Yeah, he was fucking legendary.
And this is whenever it all hits the fan.
Yep, because it flashbacks to that game.
And like Whitey's telling the story.
And Davey's like, hey, that's enough.
Yeah, like they win the game, and it's like they win that big game because he's like, I think it's funny. He's like, well, you know, I know our parents normally don't care if we win or lose; they come anyway. But like, can we like actually try and win?
Yeah, let's try to win this game for our parents.
And they're like, that's only going to happen if you score all the goals. And he's like, is that okay? And they're like, yeah, sure. And it was weird, but I mean, I guess I get it.
And his parents aren't there, but he mentions that he hopes he gets an Atari for Hanukkah.
Yeah.
And then it's a montage of him scoring, but his parents still aren't there, and they win. And Whitey does a sick robot.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was fire.
But then that's when he's like, no, that's enough of the story, no more, because he doesn't want to get to the sad part.
Yeah.
But Eleanor's like, you got to tell me.
Yeah, no, I said this is when his parents die, I bet. And then it says, and then Whitey keeps telling the story, even though Davey doesn't want him to.
Yeah.
Whitey really should have known to shut his fucking mouth.
Yeah.
I mean, really.
Or told Eleanor later on.
Yeah.
Because like at first he's just telling the story, but then like when he gets like more into like what happens after we find out his parents are dead, he's like the way he's telling it's like he should have done better with his life. And I'm like, you're kind of like preaching to the choir, man.
I know, dude.
Like he's not being mean, but just the way he says it is like kind of judgmental.
It is because it says that his parents died on the way to the game. They got hit by a truck that hit black ice.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then right after that, he walked right out of the gym and into foster home after foster home.
Yeah, Whitey says he basically shut down after that.
Yep.
Yeah, because he started acting out. And then it shows like that scene of him in the locker room, and Jennifer tries to come and talk to him, and Davey tells her to leave him alone.
Yeah, then she starts crying.
And then Eleanor starts crying.
Yeah. That's the saddest story I've ever heard.
And Davey starts to storm off, and Whitey tells him it's time to stop running from his emotions.
Yep.
And then he's like immediately switches and just becomes a dickhead to Whitey.
Yep.
Tells him that basically that Whitey ain't worth shit, and nobody even cares who the fuck he is, and like he's not gonna win the patch, and basically just tells him he's fucking worthless.
Yeah.
You know.
And he takes off Eleanor's wig and throws it, and it lands on the
Chinese waiter guy
again.
And he calls himself Christy Yamaguchi.
Yep.
And
this is where I put a note. I was like, if I had a nickel for every movie where that main character's parents died, I'd have two nickels. At Christmas, I'd have 2 nickels.
Yeah, I know this one. I was here for the other one. And then this is whenever the narrator mentions how Eleanor actually does look like an owl.
Yeah,
shit.
and the Davy had a butthole relapse.
Yeah. And then it shows Whitey and Eleanor go back to the house, and
Get ready for the banquet.
the deers help them get ready for the banquet.
Yeah.
And I just want to point out, like, I think it's really weird that, like, it's one of the problems I have with the movie where, like, the third act turn where he kind of turns on Whitey them is kind of like, I don't know, it's just kind of comes out of nowhere, like, because it's weird that, like, he starts to reform, but then he kind of goes back to being a dick. It's very, like, paced
It's
weird.
very abrupt.
Yeah. But it's one of the problems where I was like, maybe if you had a little longer to show how he was getting better and then have him get mad at Whitey a different way, I feel like it probably would have worked a little better, but...
Yeah.
Yeah, I see your point.
And then it pans to...
But then, yeah, it shows Davey, he's walking, drinking,
He breaks into the mall.
to go yell at Jennifer, who's
Yeah.
not even there.
Who's not even there, the narrator says.
And he just starts yelling into the void. And then all the, like, logos and mascots for all the shows wake up and talk to him.
Yep.
And I just put, he's tripping balls.
Yeah, time to cry, Davy. I put the mall mascot starting to sing to him, which the little, like, toy...
It's Dylan and Cole Sprouse.
Yeah, it's Dylan and Cole Sprouse.
And then
that's
the
cool. I didn't know
GNC guy was Carl Weathers, R.I.P.
He's also horny for the lingerie.
And
Yeah, that was funny.
the lingerie is Tyra Banks.
Yep.
And
Really?
the
Yeah.
massage chair is Tom Kenny.
Yep.
And then
SpongeBob.
and Chris Farley's brother is one of the other mascots.
Yeah.
Maybe the
The
panda.
panda, I think.
I think so, yeah.
But they all hold him down and they start singing to him about what happened. And they tell him to cry.
Yeah, because they show...
Why do I have bazugs? Oh, because they're talking about the lingerie's boobs.
Yeah,
They call them
the-
bazugs.
Yeah, GNC calls them.
And then he's like, "Oh, I'm just kidding, me too."
Yeah.
It was funny.
And then they call him out for drinking to numb the pain, and I just wrote "been there."
Yeah.
I felt that. And then he's like, "Fuck off! You're not gonna get me to cry." And then he's like, "Well, time to break out the big guns."
Yeah, they bring out the card, which is actually voiced by his actual parents.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Before his dad did die
Damn.
in real life.
That's sad.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
The Happy Madison guy is actually his dad.
Yeah,
Oh, really?
that I knew. Yeah.
It's not his dad's voice.
Right.
It's
But
actually
it's like a
picture
picture of his dad.
It's
Yeah.
actually Adam Sandler's voice.
Yeah.
But they bring in the Hanukkah card, and Radio Shack says it might have money in it.
That was pretty funny. Yeah.
And then he finally reads the card, and his parents sing to him, so he finally starts to cry.
Yep.
And then while he's crying, it pans and shows that like, oh, that was like an illusion.
Yeah.
And he just finally read the card, and the cops are there to arrest him. But while they're like arresting him, he like fucks with them and makes them handcuff each other, and he kind of
Yeah.
puts them in like a doggy style position.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I thought was pretty funny.
And then
And then it cuts to
I put that like he finally had a change of heart. He's like, now that he's cried, he's processed his emotions, I guess. Which is another problem I have. It's like it's very quick and abrupt.
yeah, it
It's
is.
just like, okay, that's all it took was just reading that card.
It is very quick.
Like I get the MacGuffin, but at the same time, it's like I just read the card. Now I've processed my emotions. I'm good.
I mean, I guess it does kind of make sense for the story they're trying to tell, though.
I just think it's quick. That's all.
And then it cuts to the
It has
bank.
pacing's problem.
It cuts to the
That's all I'm
banquet
trying
and it
to
shows Jennifer and Ben walking in there, and Ben says he'll be his mom's date, and then the hobo
get. Yeah, this was weird.
he
was
says
like, I'll be your dad.
he says, I'm smelly and dirty, but in the dark I'm only smelly.
She's like, yeah, thanks, but he asked me first.
He asked me first, and Whitey and Eleanor show up, and Whitey tells his sister that she looks like Audrey Hepburn if she was 4 feet and weighed 300 pounds. And then the old man shows up. There's like an old man that randomly shows up and is like, Eleanor, is that you? And he's the guy who stole.
She's immediately like, are you the kid that stole my wig? And like we expected her like no, but he's like, no, yeah, I did.
Yeah, he did. He gives it back to her, and
Fucking
she
round-
fucking roundhouses him and shoves his hand down his pants. And then she throws the wig on the Chinese guy, and he thinks he looks pretty.
Yeah. He was like, at least this one makes me look pretty.
And then it cuts and shows Davey running from the law.
Yeah, he's gonna go he gets on a bus and
To
says,
New York City. And then it's back to the banquet, and Eleanor comes out and she's all excited because she thinks that the bathroom had lobster bibs, but it's like the thing that you set down
Yeah, the
to
germ.
cover your ass for
Yeah.
germs. So she sits it down on the chair and sits on it whenever Whitey tells her what it is.
I have a weird note, and I don't know why I wrote it. Can you guys elaborate? Do you guys remember Stewie Dewey?
Nah, because I wrote that down too, and I have no
I don't remember
idea.
what that is at all. Fuck, okay.
I'm so glad I'm not the
Oh.
only one that wrote it down.
That might be the mayor's name.
Maybe, yeah,
Oh, that was the mayor's
yeah.
name.
Okay, so we'll get there then. Sorry, I just want to make sure.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember why I wrote it down. I thought it was funny, so I wrote it down. And I didn't put context to
Mayor
it.
Stewie Dewey, yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was funny. His name's Stewie Dewey.
Because he tells some ass jokes and the crowd goes
Yeah,
fucking.
that's literally my next note. Is
That
that joke
Chinese-
fucking sucked?
That Chinese man rips his shirt off and starts banging his head into the table.
It's like, dude, it's not funny. But then they kind of make they make it of like, oh yeah, everyone likes to like get on the mayor's good side.
On the mayor's good side.
Yeah, they're all kissing his ass.
Yeah.
And the kids are like snotting and pissing and
That
shitting
was
everywhere.
fucking weird, dude.
And then Eleanor's like laughing in the thing and has the bib on her ass. And then the deers are shitting.
And then you see that guy the first time. He's like,
Yeah, the dude's doing like the Irish dance.
Yeah.
And then there's deer shitting everywhere. And then
that's another one. It's
I was like, what the fuck is going on?
And that's what I think Whitey says. I was like, oh yeah, they're kissing the mayor's ass.
And then it pans back to Davy on the bus, and then somehow the thumbtack, or it runs over a thumbtack, and it
pops all 8 back tires.
Yeah.
He's
Well,
like, the driver's like, it's the strangest thing.
And then Davy says something as he looked up to the sky, and he's like, "Who you talking to?"
Yeah.
He's like, all right, I see what you're trying to get me to do.
And then the narrator says that like sometimes there's things that you can't get, like
You
aren't
can't run
supposed to
away
get
from.
Yeah,
Right.
he wasn't supposed to. And then when he starts to walk off to the thing, the guy, because he's making a joke about him being like a hippie, the bus driver
hippy
is, and he's like, "Yeah, you're gonna go have a hippy dippy mushroom flashback." And then he says, "Run, hippie, run!"
He's like, I'll be back. He's like, I should have this fixed in 30 minutes. He's like, all right, I'll be right back.
Yep.
He just wants to go apologize to Whitey before he leaves town.
And then the reindeer, when he gets there, the reindeer are like bucking up at him. They're
Yeah.
protective of Whitey, and he's like, "If I give myself a wedgie, will it prove to you
That I'm just here to apologize.
that I'm just here to apologize?"
Yeah,
And then he gives himself a wedgie.
Wedgie's the shit out of himself,
He
man.
rips his underwear, and then the deer believe him, and then you find out that Eleanor stole a bunch of rolls from the party.
He said that'll be a good snack in January.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they're getting ready to announce the patch, and I bet he doesn't get it because
Yeah.
they're obviously building towards it.
Because these people fucking suck.
And then
The people of
Dukesbury.
Pukesbury. No, Pukesbury.
Pukesbury,
Fucking
yeah,
sucks.
Pukesbury.
Fucking
Fuck
suck.
him. Fuck him not being good to Whitey.
Yeah.
Fuck.
And then
Oh, I thought it was funny though too. Like before that, sorry. It was funny that like the cops are coming around,
yeah.
and the deer are trying to hide him because Davey doesn't realize it, and he's like, "What? Is there anything over there?" He's like, "Nah, just some deer doing a pyramid."
Yeah,
And
just
I'm-
some deer doing a pyramid.
And I quoted a video that me and Dylan like. I put, just some deer doing a pyramid. Does he not know how amazing this is?
I am perplexed.
And then Davey says, "Please let there be a miracle." And then they announce some bitch named Tom.
Tom
Who the-
Balthazar.
Who the fuck is Tom?
Voiced by John Lovitz.
Yeah, John Lovitz. And he has a hook.
He has a hook hand, which apparently we find out later that he accidentally wiped his ass with that hand before.
I don't know how you do that on accident.
Oh, but that fucking hurt.
That's one of those.
Whitey gets up and he claps a little bit while he's crying, and then it shows Davey cry
Yeah.
because he's like in touch with his emotions now.
Yeah,
I
he's
guess.
like, damn, he deserves it.
And then the Chinese man beats his head on the table some more. And then like while Whitey's leaving, he hears Davey whenever he told him that nobody knows he exists.
Yeah.
But Eleanor like stands up for her brother and tells him all
You
how
all
they suck.
Yeah.
This is awesome. And then the dude won because he's a billionaire and he gave like the wreck like a digital board or something, like a scoreboard, and that's why he won. And
Davey slams in and starts singing about how shitty he was to Whitey.
yeah, Davey comes in and he starts to speak, and
The
someone
cop trying to arrest him like immediately.
and they say, "Now you go to jail and marry Big Smelly Man." I
Right.
think the Chinese guy said that.
Yeah. And then they're getting ready to toss him out. He's not gonna get to speak, but then Jennifer sees that he's crying, and she's like, finally, he's
Yeah.
in touch with his emotions, and she finally stands up and is like, let him speak.
And
then
this is-
the other chick's like, and then we'll send him to prison.
This is when they call the three boob lady Mrs.
Triple Nipple.
Yeah.
I mean,
And then there's also a cowboy that shoots his guns in the air.
Yeah.
Very odd. And he just talks about how everyone is mean to Whitey. And they have the musical about Whitey and how Whitey cares. But it shows like a montage of the movie and Davey being a shithead to
Yeah.
him. He calls his sister freaky. And then another man starts talking about Whitey.
how they're watching Sunday football and they couldn't get the signal. They had Whitey come in and
He
they
stood on the TV.
stood on the TV with an antenna and he gets struck by lightning.
Yeah, and they just ignored him while he cried. They said they ignored the cries and the burning smell.
Yeah,
Yeah, then there was a woman that stands up and says she invited him
they
to the
went to
prom.
high school together.
Yeah, she invited him to the prom and stood him up at the prom.
Yeah, and then he went to go home and cry and slow dance with his mom. Which I thought that part of the song's funny because Adam Sandler goes, "What a crushing blow."
And then the Chinese man said everyone was on crack, and the hobo gets excited. And then this is when Ben and Jennifer start singing, and then everybody starts doing the
Bum,
bum biddy 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 bum bum, and it's like, what the fuck?
And then it pans to Whitey and Eleanor driving to the mall. He's like, "There's only one place that can make me happy."
Yeah.
Also, why is Eleanor strapped down in the back seat?
That was funny.
I don't know, man.
I thought that was very strange too. And then they go to the mall, even though it's closed, but the door's open, so they go in.
Yeah.
And I guess Eleanor's never been there before because she's like, "Oh my god, it's beautiful." So
It's just a mall, lady.
it's just a mall.
Right, yeah.
And
I've
then,
never seen like a 5-story mall though.
Yeah, that shit was crazy.
And then Whitey wants to say some words in
2002.
private.
Malls weren't dead. dead yet.
Yeah. I remember there was a mall in Washington, D.C. that we went to that was 4 stories high.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was
And I know the Mall of America is like fucking huge.
Yeah. But Whitey wants to say some words, and he tells the mall it's been a long time since he's seen it, like 14 hours. And it's pretty sad because the mall is literally his only friend.
It's pretty sad because, like, yeah, the mall was cool when I was, like, 16. Now it kind of sucks. Like, I used to love the mall once too, Whitey, but it wasn't that good.
It dies. It dies.
I hate to tell you, in 2002.
Whitey talks about how he should move because nobody cares, and that he hears Florida has really nice malls.
Yeah.
And then the mayor's like there, and
it's really fucking sad, dude, because he's like, at least then people have a reason to not notice me.
And
I was like, God damn, that's so sad.
And then Davy's there.
And the mall logo start crying and shit, dude.
Yeah, bro, it's sad. Then Davy's there, and he's like, "You're not going anywhere." And
Got you for 3 minutes.
Well, Eleanor says, "Holy shit! Did the mall just say something?" Which I thought was funny. And then it's Davy. He came to apologize to Whitey, and the whole town is with him. And
they're talking about like they're grateful for all the things he does for the town.
And then the mayor gives him the patch.
Yep.
And they all start singing to Whitey, and then everyone starts throwing their patches to him, so he ends up with like all of the patches.
Yeah.
Which is pretty nice.
And they start season.
Yeah. And then he tells
Him and
Davey have another moment.
Yeah.
And he's like, "What can I do for you, Davey?" And he says, "You can help me with my dream and have someone finally wish me a happy Hanukkah." And he wishes him happy Hanukkah. And then he tells him that if him and his imaginary wife ever had a son, he would hope that he would consider that kid a brother. And he says, "I'm going to pretend like I didn't hear that." And then
him and Jennifer get back together.
And Eleanor says that she's going to kick their teeth out of their mouths if they don't live happily ever after. And then it pans to the 3-nipple lady, Miss Triple Nipple.
Yeah, the fucking
feeding 3 babies at once.
Yeah, I thought that was funny.
And Whitey starts having a seizure, and that's the end of the movie.
Yep.
And then we get the Hanukkah song.
Hanukkah song part 3.
Yeah, I love that. That's so good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there you go. That is that movie.
That is 8 crazy nights, and we did it in 1.
Hey. What you gonna do?
Got you for 3 minutes.
We got you for 8 nights.
8 nights of playtime.
Oh yeah.
That sounds creepy.
Is it with you?
If it's with you, it ain't creepy at all. It's hot.
Hey man, well I am half Jewish, so I can only celebrate 4 nights.
Is that how that works?
Call me Will Smith, because that's hot. That's hot.
All right, so
Keep my wife.
I like how we referenced 2 different memes of it.
I'm gonna give this movie
2 different sides of Will Smith.
Yeah, YouTube Rewind and Oscars
Yeah.
2018, 19,
2022.
22. Oh, Jesus
23,
Christ, my
102.
time's an illusion, brother.
Time's not real.
Yeah.
What you giving this movie?
Sorry, but yeah, let's rate it.
I'm gonna give this movie a 6.5.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Higher than I was gonna go.
Yeah,
But
me too.
I gave it a
I
6.5.
was going with a solid 5.
I was going with a solid 5 as well.
I give
Like
it a 6.5.
it's a fun movie. It's got funny jokes, but
Yeah.
overall, it's
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
all. I just think 5 is too. For me, 5 was too low because 5's like super mid.
See,
and,
'cause-
I mean, this movie is mid, but it's not that mid to me.
It's mid, but with the night before, with my metric of the night before being like it's just a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
Like
Oh, that's a fair
the
point.
mid plus that brings it down to an even 5. Where like it is a good. Like I will rewatch it every couple years, but
Yeah.
it's not. I don't think it's good enough to deserve much.
Honestly, the songs in this do a lot of the heavy lifting.
They really
I
does.
agree.
The
'Cause
songs are
it's
better
a better
than they-
musical than Joker
Yeah,
too.
honestly,
It is.
the songs.
Sorry, it's
in
the end of the year, and I don't want to. I'm still heated about it.
Fuck the Joker too.
Yeah, the songs in this are way better than they should be.
Agreed. Surprisingly, and I think it's probably because of Adam Sandler.
Yeah.
Because like he's able to blend the comedy with it and make it kind of work.
You guys got anything else to say about this movie?
Nah, I feel like this one's pretty cut and dry
It's
for
pretty,
me.
Alrighty.
pretty juiced. Pretty
Yeah.
Hanukkah juice.
Listen to the podcast.
Yeah.
Well, alrighty. This has been another Movie Juiced. New episodes drop every Thursday morning. You can follow us on Facebook at Movie Juice, Instagram and Twitter at Movie Juice Pod. We still have that coming soon website. Hopefully in 2025 it'll be a real one. Who knows? You can visit that at www.moviejuicepod.com. You can email us if you have anything you want to tell us. If you want to send us any reviews, or if you want to send us movies you want us to watch on here. Or if you just want to just tell us some funny stuff. We'll read them on here maybe, who knows. But email us. We'd love to hear from you at moviejuicepod@gmail.com. All links can be found on our link tree, which is on all of our social medias. We are on Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and YouTube. You can follow us all individually on Instagram and Twitter. Our handles are in the description below. We'll be back next week with Nosferatu, which is starring Bill Skarsgård and Willem Dafoe. And as always, I've been Dylan.
I've been Kyle.
And I've been been James. And for one last time, this has been The Juice.
Thrills the